Like a silent fire moving through dry grass, it came without warning. No armies gathered at the horizon, no banners of conquest, no sound of marching boots, only fever and blood. Today we speak of one of the deadliest and least remembered pandemics in human history. In the mid-16th century, the lands of ancient Mexico stood in a fragile new order. The Aztec Empire had fallen to Hernán Cortés only decades earlier. Tenochtitlan lay rebuilt as Mexico City. Spanish rule expanded outward through tribute systems and missionary networks. Yet beyond the colonial capitals, millions of indigenous people still cultivated maize, maintained ancient irrigation systems, and preserved knowledge passed down for centuries. Civilizations had been wounded, but they were not yet erased. Then, in 1545, something emerged from the interior highlands. The people called it Cocoliztli, the Great Pestilence. It did not arrive dramatically. There was no single point of invasion. It appeared in scattered communities across central Mexico, particularly in the elevated valleys where drought had tightened its grip. The first symptoms seemed almost ordinary: high fever, headache, extreme thirst. But then the illness turned monstrous. Victims began to bleed. From the nose, the mouth, even the ears. Their skin yellowed. Dark blotches formed beneath the surface. Some fell into delirium, speaking incoherently before collapsing. Death often followed within 3 or 4 days. Entire households died together. Spanish friars recorded scenes of unimaginable devastation. They described towns where church bells rang constantly until there was no one left to ring them. In some villages, corpses lay inside homes for days because the living were too weak to bury the dead. Unlike smallpox, which had arrived earlier with European contact, this disease behaved differently. It spread rapidly but seemed to strike indigenous populations with far greater intensity. The Spanish, though not immune, died in smaller numbers. This imbalance deepened fear. Between 1545 and 1550, as many as 15 million people may have perished. Some regions lost up to 70 or even 80% of their population. To grasp the scale, this was one of the most lethal demographic collapses in recorded history. This was not simply a health crisis, it was structural collapse. Fields went unharvested. Terraced hillsides eroded without maintenance. Irrigation canals clogged and dried. Markets emptied. Trade routes dissolved into silence. Entire knowledge systems vanished in a single generation. Priests who preserved oral histories died before passing them on. Artisans who understood agricultural cycles disappeared. Communities fragmented beyond recovery. Modern climate research adds another layer to the story. Tree ring data reveals that Mexico was enduring one of the worst megadroughts in centuries during this exact period. Years of failed rains weakened crops. Malnutrition spread quietly before the disease ever appeared. Bodies already strained by hunger are more vulnerable to infection. Some researchers believe Cocoliztli may have been a viral hemorrhagic fever, possibly native to the region and amplified by ecological stress. Others propose a bacterial infection carried by rodents whose populations surged and shifted due to drought conditions. The truth remains debated, but the timing is undeniable. Environmental collapse, colonial disruption, population displacement, and then disease. The Spanish administration struggled to comprehend what was happening. Labor systems faltered as indigenous workers died in massive numbers. Mines lacked manpower. Encomiendas lost tribute payers. Entire provinces became economically unstable. To compensate, colonial authorities intensified labor demands on survivors. This, in turn, created further stress. The demographic vacuum reshaped the Americas. With fewer indigenous communities able to resist or maintain territorial cohesion, Spanish control expanded more easily. Land ownership shifted permanently. Cultural continuity fractured. What armies began, disease accelerated. History remembers the conquest, the steel blades, the cavalry, the dramatic sieges. But conquest alone does not explain the speed of transformation. Something invisible moved faster than soldiers ever could, and it left behind a continent permanently altered. The forgotten pandemic of ancient Mexico was not merely an outbreak. It was a pivot point. It changed demographic realities. It altered power balances. It erased irreplaceable cultural memory. It transformed the trajectory of colonial expansion. And yet, outside academic circles, few have heard its name, Cocoliztli. Like many of history's greatest turning points, it did not arrive with spectacle. It arrived quietly, in fever, in thirst, in silence, spreading from village to village. Empires often claim victory through force, but sometimes history shifts because of something far smaller than an army, something invisible, something that leaves no monuments behind, only absence.